Okay, how to go about doing experiments, two-phase, single-phase, three-phase experiments, or whatever you do. This is a basic walkthrough of it, and you can do modifications as you want. Whoever is going to see this can do modifications. So this is the T-junction where the liquid and gas phase, which is oil and air, mix. The air supply line is over here, which is coming through the hose to the airflow meter. It's pretty straightforward to read the airflow meter. It's pretty simple. Once it goes through there, the white thing is a one-way valve. It can only allow flow in that direction, so the oil coming out or cannot go back in this direction. Talking about valves, there's three over here and one at the back there. This valve is usually always open to allow oil flow from the first flow. This is usually open as well if you're doing two-phase experiments, so the air can come in. At the T is where the oil and air mix. That valve is open to allow the two-phase flow going up through those two elbows, in through the test section, going all the way down to the end of the lab, flowing back down through those pipes on the ground and going back into the tank. So a couple of things to note. There's a valve over here which should be always closed. If not, all the fluids will start coming out of there and you will not have a fun time. So this valve over here, which is the bypass valve, is usually only used when you're doing two-phase experiments. To do two-phase hold-up experiments, this is one of the actuated valves, and all the way down there is the other one. They work in synchronization because all the connections are shorted on those. The way you use those is through a switch over here. It says open and close. You hold the switch to open or close to do hold-ups. Okay, so as the fluids are moving through, you want to trap them in the test section. So the default position for these valves is open. So to do hold-up, you have to close them at the same time so you can trap fluids there. To do that, you start operating the switch. At the same time, this bypass valve, which is usually always closed, you start turning it open at the same time so you can allow fluids to go this way and then back into the tank, into the holding tank on the first floor. So basically, hold-up experiments, start turning the valves close using the switch, the actuated valves. Start opening this valve by hand at the same time. Try to be as synchronized as possible so you can trap the right amount of fluids in the test section. There's another valve all the way down here, which is open by default. It was only used to do pressure tests to begin with and do leak tests. And there's the last valve over here, which is right before the return line goes back to the oil tank, which is always open as well. So that's the test section on how to do liquid hold-up experiments. If you're not doing liquid hold-up experiments, you don't really have to do much. Those actuated valves should be open at all times, and the fluid should pass through the test section this way, and you can log and read and look at all the fluids flowing through the clear test section. Right, that's it.